Hi guys, welcome to School Hack. This is how I got a 9 in my English Literature GCSE. First thing that I did was highlight key bits of information. This was so important to make sure I was extracting the relevant bits of information the question would be based on. So a big tip that I would recommend is do not highlight more than 5 key words because they are asking you to look at the language and present an argument. So if you do more than 5, you're kind of just going to waffle on and you're not really going to get the key bits of information that they are looking for. So please make sure that you're annotating because it actually helps also using different coloured highlighters. For me specifically, some people prefer to use the same colour, but just go through and highlight key words that you know that you can analyse. Specifically this is for English language as well. So yeah. Right, next thing is make sure you read the text. This is so important, keep reading it. I read it around 2 to 3 times before I actually start my argument, just to make sure I've thoroughly understood what the question's asking me and what the text and for instance, if it was English literature, the poem is trying to convey to the reader. So it's so important just to keep skimming over the text. And again, you might pick up a key word or a key phrase that you might have not picked up the first time you read it. So it's so important to keep reading over the text. Next thing I did was come up with around 4 to 5 points for each argument. This could be basically on a specific essay, or it could be on a poem that I was writing about when I was doing my poem side in my English Literature GCSE. So came up with around 4 to 5 different points and then chose the best 3 to base my argument on, just to make sure that I was getting all the context that I needed to have a really strong argument. So definitely recommend that. Quality over quantity. When you do analyse, it is so important to use keywords like convey, this demonstrates, this implies, this illustrates, because those will get you those marks and push you over into the top band. So it's so important that you use those words because that's what's going to make the marker see that you can understand what they've given you, you can understand the text, you can understand the argument. So it's so important to use those words. And then obviously to reach the top marks, you do need to use words like emphasises, this enhances, this highlights. I still even use them at university. It's so important to use these because they will help you later on in your academic life as well as your GCSE. So please make sure you use those words. However, do not use words like emphasises, this highlights, if you do not have something to back it up on, because otherwise your argument will not make sense. So you need to make sure you have a solid argument or a solid point that you're trying to convey in order to use those words. So that's a good tip. So next thing that I did was, as I've stated in my previous videos, I absolutely love flashcards. I literally lived through using these flashcards my whole academic life. For English literature specifically, as I said in my other YouTube video, I literally used to write down the quote and just lay them all out. And for instance, Macbeth, I'd have Lady Macbeth said a specific thing, turn around and I'd have to remember what she said, because it's so, you basically need to just get your brain working and trying to memorize all the quotes and stuff. So when I went into that exam, I knew all the quotes. I probably couldn't remember them now, to be honest, but at the time I was if you asked me, I was just constantly on it. Even in lessons, I was just saying it back. It's so important. You just need to memorize it because you don't know what can come up in that exam, and you just need to be prepared. So flashcards are definitely a big help. Definitely helped me. And again, like I said before, my sister used to quiz me, so you can even do it with your friends or your peers. You could literally do it together. And just quiz each other just to make sure that you're learning the content that you need. For poems, you need to make sure you talk about the structure of the poem, the rhythm, the style that it's written in, just all those big, even the title. I think it's so important. Talk about the title. You just need to make sure you get as much context. So for my English literature GCSE, I actually, when I was doing my first half, I started writing the whole essay, and this was around 30 minutes in, and I was oh my god, I don't like it. I was I don't actually want to write about this. I was I looked at the other question because I just kind of rushed into it because the adrenaline just kicks in when you walk into that exam room, which I understand. And I walked in and I was just started writing. I picked one of the questions. I was I'll pick this one. It was about little Piggy, Piggy in Lord of the Flies, and I just started writing about Piggy. And then there was another question on Macbeth, and I was actually, I'd rather write about Macbeth because I have much stronger arguments. That actually cut half an hour of my time off, and then I had to then start my other essay. So it actually gave me not enough time in my the section B for the poems, but some reason I was like 2 marks off 100% in my English literature GCSE, which is like insane to me. So I don't know how I did that, but don't do what I did. I don't recommend it. This is why it's so important to read like the questions and like what they're asking you, because you don't want to be like me, because it doesn't help, and you get, honestly, the stress. I was stressing and I was nervous and my hands were like sweating like continuously. So don't do that. But it's so important to obviously keep reading over the text. But I don't even know what I was going to say now. I just kept waffling about my experience, giving me flashbacks. But obviously, definitely, when you're looking at poems, definitely go through the whole thing and talk about everything that you see, and obviously highlight the key bits that you think would be quite good and useful in an argument, obviously using the question that they provide you. So those of you that are studying Shakespeare currently at GCSE, like me, I did Macbeth, you need to remember that it is a play, so you're targeting an audience rather than a reader, so try and incorporate that into your argument, and just demonstrate that you know that it's not like a book. And then obviously same for poem, you need to try and convey that it's also a listener as well as a reader. So try and convey those different arguments just to hit those top band marks and ensure that you are getting, conveying to the examiner that you understand what they are trying to ask you. Another thing that I used to do was write out paragraphs that were literally reaching the top band, so making sure I had an argument for each different topic. So for instance, for Macbeth, I had a structure of how I was going to structure my Lady Macbeth essay, and then I had a different one for Macbeth and how he shows signs of power, and stuff like that. So try and just keep practicing, because you need to keep practicing the structure that the exam board is wanting you to obviously display. So keep practicing paragraphs. Like, you can never go wrong with just continuously writing and just practicing and embedding that structure into your brain, because then it will just come naturally to you in the exam, which is what you want. So you're not stressing and you're not overthinking when you walk into the exam. Another key thing, which again is so important, is make sure you take breaks. If you're doing around 6 to 9 hours of English literature revision all in one go, it's not going to be realistic at all. You need to make sure you take breaks. It's so important just to keep your brain fresh and keep yourself active, and keep changing subjects if that helps. But definitely do not overwork yourself, because then you will just forget everything and you won't actually remember or learn anything. And especially for English literature, it's so important that you understand and you memorize the context and stuff like that you are being provided with, and the information that you are being given, especially in school. When you go back into school, you need to make sure that you are keeping up to date with all the work that your teachers are giving you, because they are there to help you. So guys, those are the things that helped me get a 9 in my English literature GCSE. So please use those tips, they're so helpful, and let me know how you get on. Good luck!